Good morning. A massive train stabbing attack near London leaves 11 people fighting for their lives. I'm Remo, and this is the Daily Signal for November 3rd, 2025. Stay tuned for the rest of the stories.
Unfiltered. Now,
Here are the other top stories for November 3rd, 2025. Hamas hands over coffins containing bodies of Gaza hostages in Red Cross exchange. Powerful 6.3 magnitude earthquake strikes northern Afghanistan, killing at least 7 people. Mexican mayor assassinated during Day of the Dead celebrations in shocking holiday violence. Massive explosion destroys convenience store in northern Mexico, 23 confirmed dead. Hurricane Melissa devastates Jamaica's agricultural sector for the second time this season. 2 more suspects charged in brazen Louvre jewel heist as 3 others walk free. Deadly landslides bury Kenyan villages, 21 dead and 30 still missing. Thousands of civilians remain trapped in Sudan's El Fasher as conflict intensifies. Defense Secretary Hegseth returns wartime artifacts to Vietnam in diplomatic ceremony. Now let's dive into each story. Breaking overnight, a lone attacker with a knife turned a routine train journey into a bloodbath near Cambridge, England. 11 people were stabbed, 9 with life-threatening injuries. Here's what happened. On November 1st, a 32-year-old man began his attack shortly after the London-bound train left Peterborough Station. Passengers described scenes of absolute terror as the attacker moved through the carriages. The hero of this story? A train worker who threw himself between the attacker and passengers. That worker suffered severe injuries, but likely saved lives. One witness told Sky News, "I thought I was going to die." Armed police stormed the train at Huntingdon Station and arrested the suspect. 6 victims remain hospitalized, 1 in critical condition. A second man initially detained was released. He was actually trying to help. Critical detail. Police confirm this was not terrorism. This appears to be a lone wolf attack with no political motivation. Why this matters: the government immediately increased police presence on railways nationwide. This attack highlights growing concerns about public safety and emergency response times on Britain's transport network. In Gaza, Hamas handed over 2 coffins through the Red Cross, claiming they contain the bodies of Israeli hostages Amiram Cooper and Sahar Barouk. The bodies were transferred to Tel Aviv's National Center of Forensic Medicine for identification. Israel's Prime Minister's office later confirmed the identities and expressed condolences to the families. This comes after previous controversy when Hamas handed over remains that didn't match expected hostages. The families of Cooper and Barouk had been waiting over a year for answers. Here's what's significant. This exchange suggests ongoing behind-the-scenes negotiations despite the public breakdown of ceasefire talks. The Red Cross involvement indicates international pressure for humanitarian gestures. The broader context: over 200 hostages were taken during the October 7th attacks. Many families still don't know if their loved ones are alive or dead. Why this matters to you? These exchanges often precede larger diplomatic movements. Watch for increased international mediation efforts in the coming weeks. A powerful 6.3 magnitude earthquake struck northern Afghanistan, killing at least 7 people and injuring dozens more. The earthquake hit early morning when most people were at home. Rural communities bore the brunt of the damage, with mud brick houses collapsing instantly. Afghanistan's already struggling healthcare system is overwhelmed. The country's been hit by multiple earthquakes this year, each one devastating communities that haven't recovered from the last disaster. Here's the cruel reality. International aid has been severely limited since the Taliban took control. This means fewer resources for emergency response and rebuilding. The aftershocks continue, forcing families to sleep outdoors in freezing temperatures. Local officials fear the death toll will rise as rescue teams reach remote villages. In Mexico, a mayor was assassinated during Day of the Dead celebrations, turning a joyful holiday into tragedy. The killing happened during what should have been a peaceful community gathering. This attack represents the ongoing crisis of violence against Mexican public officials. Over 100 Mexican politicians have been killed since 2021. Most are targeted by organized crime groups who want to control local government decisions. Day of the Dead is Mexico's most sacred holiday, when families honor deceased loved ones. The timing of this assassination sends a chilling message to other officials. Mexican authorities are investigating, but conviction rates for political murders remain extremely low. Many mayors now govern under constant threat. This connects to broader narco-violence, devastating Mexico's political system and threatening democracy at the local level. 23 people died when a convenience store exploded and caught fire in northern Mexico. The blast happened in a populated area, with the explosion so powerful it damaged surrounding buildings. Witnesses described hearing the blast from miles away. Initial reports suggest a gas leak may have caused the explosion, but authorities are investigating all possibilities, including criminal activity. The store was busy with weekend shoppers when disaster struck. Many victims were customers who had no warning before the explosion. Emergency responders found some victims trapped under debris, while others suffered severe burns from the intense fire that followed. This tragedy highlights Mexico's ongoing infrastructure challenges and the need for better safety regulations in commercial buildings. Hurricane Melissa delivered another devastating blow to Jamaica's farmers and fishers, marking the second major hurricane this season. Jamaica's agricultural sector was just beginning to recover from earlier storm damage. Now coffee plantations, banana farms, and fishing communities face total devastation. The economic impact is staggering. Jamaica relies heavily on agricultural exports and fishing for foreign currency. This hurricane could trigger food shortages and economic recession. Climate change is making these storms more frequent and more powerful. Jamaica, like other Caribbean islands, faces an existential threat from increasingly violent hurricane seasons. Thousands of farmers who lost everything earlier this year have now lost their rebuild efforts. Many are considering abandoning farming altogether. 2 more suspects have been charged in the audacious Louvre jewel heist, while 3 others were released from custody. The arrests suggest this was a sophisticated operation involving multiple people and careful planning. The Louvre houses some of the world's most valuable artifacts. French investigators haven't revealed which items were targeted or the total value stolen. The museum has enhanced security following this breach. This heist joins a string of high-profile art thefts across Europe. Criminal organizations increasingly target museums and galleries for valuable, hard-to-trace items. In Kenya's Rift Valley, deadly landslides have killed 21 people and left 30 others missing. Heavy rains triggered the slides in mountainous areas where poor communities live in vulnerable locations. Rescue efforts continue, but hope fades for those still missing. Kenya's Rift Valley faces repeated natural disasters due to deforestation and climate change. Communities have few options but to live in high-risk areas due to poverty. Thousands of civilians remain trapped in Sudan's El Fasher, as few manage to reach safety from the ongoing conflict. The humanitarian crisis deepens daily, as food and medical supplies run critically low. International aid organizations struggle to reach affected areas due to active fighting. Sudan's civil war has displaced millions and created one of the world's worst humanitarian disasters. The international community's response remains inadequate. Looking at today's stories, 3 critical patterns emerge that will shape your world. First, violence is disrupting everyday life everywhere. From London trains to Mexican celebrations to Kenyan villages, nowhere feels completely safe. This reflects growing global instability, affecting ordinary people doing ordinary things. Second, natural disasters are becoming deadlier and more frequent. Afghanistan earthquakes, Jamaica hurricanes, Kenya landslides. Climate change isn't a future problem. It's killing people today and destroying livelihoods faster than communities can recover. Third, institutional failures are amplifying every crisis. Whether it's emergency response on UK trains, aid restrictions in Afghanistan, or corruption in Mexico, our systems aren't protecting people when they need it most. Here's what this means for you. The old assumption that governments and institutions will handle major crises is breaking down. Communities that build local resilience and mutual support networks will be better positioned to survive future shocks. The economic implications are massive. Countries spending resources on conflict and disaster response have less for development and growth. This creates a vicious cycle where instability breeds more instability. Watch for these trends to accelerate. Increased security measures in public spaces, more extreme weather events, and growing public frustration with government response capabilities. One bright spot: the heroic train worker in the UK attack shows that ordinary people still rise to extraordinary challenges. In every crisis, human courage and compassion emerge alongside the tragedy. Stay informed, stay prepared, and stay connected to your community. These aren't just news stories, they're previews of the challenges we'll all face together. I'm Remo. Thanks for staying informed with the Daily Signal. We'll be back tomorrow with the stories that matter to your life.
Unfiltered.